Hello everyone, and thank you for considering YourMOOC4all for the Open Education Awards for Excellence 2020. We're going to introduce this project, which is a joint research between the Open University in the UK and UNED in Spain. A bit of context is the term of inclusion and accessibility in online learning. It has benefits for those students with accessibility needs, such as the case of openness, the low cost it has, the possibility to work at their own time, place, and pace, the opportunities this online learning offers to acquire new knowledge, as well to connect and work with other peers, achieve new competencies that could actually potentially develop those students professionally. Unfortunately, open learning has not been always developed with the inherent capacity to attend all the needs of all the students, and that's a big risk when considering and including that resources should be open to all. We find out that there is a lack of support and poor compliance on platforms and contents in terms of accessibility standards, which makes content not accessible to some students, and there is a lack of information and preferences saved about what the students want and like. And as well, when using third-party software, it includes as well networks and other types of barriers added on top. In terms of the context of YourMOOC4all, it's very interesting because it started in 2015 when attending OE Global in Banff, supported by the GoGN network. Koliko Badonga from UNED and myself that was going to join IET realizes that there is a gap. There is a lack of detailed information regarding accessibility to ensure learners with accessibility needs can access online learning. And we need to support and provide access with accessibility users that have accessibility needs, but as well, we need to consider that there is a lot of information there about courses and online learning resources that we have to think about, and the way recommender system can provide recommendations of interest of the students' expectations as well. So how to join those two aspects. And as well, learners are the ones who actually can provide recommendations, and recommendations from previous learners taking part in online materials can be quite appropriate. So YourMOOC4all has two differentiated parts. So on one side is considering the what the student wants to learn, what the competencies they want to acquire from the learning materials, and how to fit that in terms of professional profiles and the learning experience they want to have in terms of the competencies. But as well, what about the accessibility needs and preferences of those students that need to use when accessing those materials? So that's kind of the two big areas in the project and the research objective. So YourMOOC4all is very similar to MOOC aggregator sites like already exist and are commercial, like Class Central, MOOClist, and Coursetalk. And the students there can add feedback about their MOOCs they have participated, and as well get recommendations. So we take this to another level. At the moment is a pilot in which we have a multi-language aggregator that allows to capture different, in this case, MOOCs, and in this case, because we are trying it in Spanish, 700 MOOCs from the OER repository from UNED Abierta, from MediaDX and Coursera. So basically, we have that information there, and we are trying it out in terms of those courses, and you can see in the screenshot how they can be searched following criteria that actually empowers the learner. So it's learner-centered approach. So they have the chance to work through those courses and match the user expectations and learning needs, because we are trying to profile accessibility needs, but as well the learning they want to achieve to get those recommendations. And the way they evaluate the courses is following universal design for learning, which empowers learners to evaluate in terms of accessibility and universal design. So it has both aspects, the artificial intelligence bit and the social networking experience. This system has been designed so to provide information as well to MOOC developers, and in this case, because we're working with MOOCs, but it's potentially able to use in many different platforms such as OER repositories, because we get lots of information from students. So how this information can actually help those that are developing the repositories and the materials to help them to improve accessibility. And as well, learners, they can use an aspect that allows us, like UDL, to evaluate courses and get feedback and code recommendations following accessibility needs. So that sense is a UDL framework what is being followed, and as well, learners are allowed to include free text. So that means that they only evaluate but give recommendations and ideas to anyone who wants to find MOOCs in their own interest. So with the idea of empowering learners to be expert learners, so they can be strategic, resourceful, and motivate to work and study through these courses. In this screenshot, we can briefly see how it works. So we have the qualification, the qualification of the course, and basic information, and information regarding accessibility. For example, if it has transcripts, audios in different languages or multi-language, and subtitles, and as well how to evaluate it. So there are several aspects that can be considered in terms of the evaluation of the MOOC regarding universal design for learning. At the moment, it's a pilot and has been designed with a bachelor student, and actually has been tested by bachelor students last course, and we are still working in it. It's an open source project in GitHub, and there you have the link to play with it. And thank you very much for considering this project, YourMOOC4all, for consideration in Open Education Awards for Excellence.